So, taking the discussion forward from yesterday, okay. Now today we will try to calculate magnetic field at the center of a current carrying loop, okay. This is the current carrying loop I, and I want to calculate the magnetic field. What would be the direction of magnetic field from right hand screw rule? Magnetic field किस direction में होगी? Upwards, okay. So here I have B, okay. So now I have to, if I say that this distance is r, if this distance is r, then I have to calculate the magnetic field at the center of this current carrying loop, okay. So what is my problem statement? It is the evaluate B at the center of current carrying loop, okay. So I suppose that the radius is r, okay. Now if I take a small length element dl, now how I want to move on this loop? Let me move along the direction of current, otherwise the dB will come out to be negative, okay. When I will integrate, it will be negative. So I will move along the loop, okay. So when I move along the loop, you see this is the direction of the length element. I say this is the length element. Length element is always perpendicular to r. That is from the heuristics of a circle, that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent, okay. So dl is perpendicular to r. So I can say that the magnetic field, small elemental magnetic field dB due to the small length element dl would be equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi I into dl cross r divided by r square, okay. We are taking a small length element, so it is 1 by r squared. Is it okay? No confusion, okay. Now you see, I want to calculate the magnetic field due to the entire loop at the center, okay. So it means the entire loop would be closed circular integral of dB will give me the magnetic field due to the entire loop at the center. Is it okay? I am integrating this over a closed loop. Let us be more specific. I have circular loop. So this integral is over closed circular loop, okay. So now I come to the right hand side of this expression. So you see here dl cross r, I say this is unit vector along this direction. So dl and r are always perpendicular. dl and r are always perpendicular. What is this? This is a cross product. When dl and r I know are perpendicular, then cross product would be simply the multiplication of the magnitude of two vectors. And I know that this is a unit vector, so magnitude of this goes to 1, right. So what I am left with is simply the integral of dl. Is it clear? What I am left with is only the integral of dl. What is integral of dl? dl is the length of this circular loop. What is the length? It is the circumference, 2 pi r, okay. So I get from here that B is equal to mu 0 I upon 4 pi r square into 2 pi r, okay. So that is, so I can say that to be specific, let us have this vector sign here. So I have mu 0 I over I cancel pi's and cancel 2 and I cancel this also. So, I have mu 0 over 2 r, mu 0 I over 2 r. Okay. So, it means as I move away from the center, the field will fall exponentially. Okay. As I move away from the center, the field would fall exponentially. Okay. So, what would be the direction of field? Can you tell me? Can you draw the magnetic field in this current carrying loop? Magnetic field is here. What about this place? Here it is going like this. What about at the periphery? It will be like this. So, what would be the direction? Outwards or inwards? Current is moving like this, and here apply the right hand screw rule here. This is the direction of current. Okay. So, how this would circulate? It would be like this. Here it would be like this, and I will have field going like this. Okay. So, this is the current, this is the current. Where is the current? Current is here I. Then magnetic field at the center is just perpendicular to the surface of the loop. Okay. And then it will curl like this. So, yesterday we saw this formalism or this pictorial representation of the field pattern due to a current carrying loop led to the famous second Maxwell's equation. Okay. We say that B dot dl, what did we say? That if I take the same analogy with a dipole, if I have say a negative charge and a positive charge, I know that from the positive charge fields would come out and they will terminate at the Is it okay? So, yesterday we saw that if I draw an arbitrary surface here and I take E dot dl, E dot dA, sorry, over a closed surface, it is over a closed surface. If I take E dot dA, that is I take a closed surface. Okay. Please remember this, in Gauss law we take closed surface. In Gauss law is always associated with closed surface. If I take a closed surface here, this is electric field, this is an electric dipole, then I get integral over a closed surface E dot dA. If this area is elemental area dA, then this is not 0 but is equal to q over epsilon naught. This is the Gauss law, okay, or the first Maxwell's equation. This led to the first Maxwell's equation. But on the other hand, if I see this here, see, let me see here, let me complete this loop here. So, if the current is here is going into the board and here it is coming out of the board. Here current is penetrating into the board and here it is coming out of the board. So, if I look at these points, the field patterns are very similar to the electric dipole field patterns in electric field. Okay. So, if I try to do the same, if I try to draw an elemental surface here and I apply, because I know that this Biot and Savart law has got some similarity with its electric field counterpart. So, thinking that if I try to apply the same Gauss law formalism here on the magnetic field, then over a closed surface B dot dA, I cannot write that this is equal to the magnetic charge upon Mu naught, say, because magnetic charge do not exist. Because magnetic monopoles do not exist, so this is always equal to 0, that is del dot B is always equal to 0. Divergence of B at any point is equal to 0 because there are no charge. There will be divergence at a particular region if and only if there are sink or source. But because there are no magnetic charge do not exist, so there are no source or sink anywhere. So this would always go to 0. This is the this is the second Maxwell's equation. Okay. So now we take this discussion little forward. Is there any doubt? Is it clear? Okay. So now we move little forward and we look at the more advanced picture of the same formalism. And this is called Ampere's law. Okay. This is Ampere's law, the advanced formalism or advanced picture of the Biot and Savart law is Ampere's law, which led to the third Maxwell's equation. Okay. So let me write down the Biot and Savart law that says that integral of dB is actually equal to integral of mu 0 upon 4 pi I by r square dl cross r. Okay. Or I can say that B is equal to mu 0 I upon okay, let it be like this for a moment. Now, so this was for if I have a current carrying loop, same loop, I have a current carrying loop, current is coming out here, out, and it is going in here. Okay, then I have magnetic field in this direction. Okay, magnetic field is in this direction. So actually Biot and Savart always thought that the path should be circular. Biot and Savart always thought that the path should always be circular, then only we will be able to put this formalism together. Okay. But Ampere said, okay, no issues, we were calculating, now what we were doing, we were calculating B due to the entire loop at the center. Okay. And where dl, what was the dl? What was dl here? dl was the small current length element over this loop. Okay. So on the other hand, if I have, this was this one, okay, where my current carrying conductor was circular. But if I have a current carrying conductor like this, if I have a current carrying conductor like this, then I say that my magnetic field is like this. Okay. So magnetic field will be like this, B. Okay. Well, so magnetic field, so what is, if I now apply here Biot and Savart law, because this will be more clear, then I know that due to small length element dl, I can calculate the small field dB at point P. Okay. So this dl here is same as this dl here. Okay. But now what if I start to move, here I was not moving, okay, we were not moving. So if I start to move over this loop, if I start to move over this loop, then what would happen? So I will have B dot dl. So my movement, this is a closed loop, okay, if the radius is r, then this would be B dot dl. What will be B dot dl? B dot dl will be B into 2 pi r. Okay. So if I go here, if I calculate here, I will have mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. Because of this 1 by r square, I will have mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. So, from here this is 2 pi r. So, if I, what is this? This is b. So, b into 2 pi r is actually equal to mu 0 I. Okay. So, what I can say that over a closed loop b dot dl is equal to mu 0 I. This is Ampere's law. This is Ampere's law. But Ampere found that the path need not be always circular. But Ampere observed that path need not be always circular. Path can be anything. Okay. So, if suppose I have an arbitrary path, if I have an arbitrary path like this, I have an arbitrary path, let me draw it, reorient it, let it be, it is vertical, let me reorient it like this. I have an arbitrary path like this, okay, and if suppose current is, and say, now with this arbitrary path you will have to attach an open surface. With this arbitrary closed path you must have an arbitrary open surface. Remember, I told you that the second Maxwell's equation or Gauss law is associated with closed surface. Okay. But the third Maxwell's equation, which follows from the Ampere's law, is associated with open surface. With a closed loop here, you will have to associate an open surface. Now, that open surface could be this plane itself, like a film. आप जब बबल बनाते हैं तो बबल के ऊपर एक फिल्म होती है, तो पेरीफेरी ऑफ द बबल, यदि आपके पास बबल है, सोप बबल, आपके पास आप एक वायर बना दीजिए सोप सोल्यूशन में. यू मस्ट बी प्लेइंग दिस व्हेन यू वर स्मॉल. यू हैव like this a handle and a wire mesh, a wire loop here. You dip it in the soap solution and then you just blow it, you get nice looking bubbles. Okay. So, it means this is the loop. This is the loop, and now you have seen those loops. When you were small, if you remember, if you try to recollect, those loops were not circular. They were of any arbitrary shape, only they were closed loops. They were closed loops, and the soap film is an open surface. It is not a closed surface. It is an open surface. So, something like that. Okay, something like that with what we used to play when we were small. Okay. So, it means when we are with Ampere's law, we have to associate a open surface with a closed loop. Now, this open surface could be anything. It could be like a bag. It could be a bag, like a polythene bag or any bag. It could be your inverted hat. Hat's periphery is the loop, and the rest, the cloth or the whatever material it is made up of, is giving the open surface. Okay. So, it could be anything. Now, here if you see, you will see that it is always written I enclosed. B dot dl is mu 0 I enclosed. You see in any book, it is written I enclosed. What is this I enclosed? Generally, there is a tendency that current enclosed in this loop. Current enclosed in this loop. There is nothing like you cannot enclose current. Okay. It is the current that is penetrating through the open surface. It is the current that is penetrating through the open surface. Okay. So, I mean, this enclosed term which we generally use is not very well defined for Ampere's law, because Ampere's law generally it does not matter what type of loop you are. It is more important that your current should be penetrating through a surface. Your current should be penetrating through, that is, it should be piercing through a surface. Then, so it is actually the I penetration, not I enclosed, but generally this is a standard. We always write mu 0 I enclosed. Okay. Now, so if suppose I move on this loop like this, and I say this is, I move like this, okay, and if a current is say penetrating here through the surface, it is a bag and it is coming out like this. This is I1 and another current, it goes out like this, I2, okay, it is going out. Now you are moving in this direction, okay. So if I move in this direction, I have to, what I have to calculate? I have to calculate B dot dl. Now current is in this direction, what would be the direction of field? I am moving in this direction. This is for, you can write, for counterclockwise movement. Movement is for counterclockwise movement. What is counterclockwise? Against the rotation of the clock, conventional clock, okay. Is it clear? So when I am moving counterclockwise direction, so what would be I1 and I2? I know that B dot dl is mu 0 I, okay. So if I am in the counterclockwise direction, then my current should be in which direction? Upward direction, according to right hand screw rule. So it means for counterclockwise movement, I1 is less than 0 because it is opposite, and I2 is greater than 0, or I1 is negative, I2 is positive. Is it clear? So it depends, it is very important that how you are going to move on this closed loop. What is your direction of your movement? Okay. So it means for this particular rotation, I can say that I1 is less than 0 and I2 is greater than 0. Is it okay? Clear? No issues? Okay. But if I flip my rotation, if I start to move like this, I move like this. For this particular movement, because I want this to be positive, I do not want to deal with negative sign, okay. So when I can deal with positives, then why to unnecessarily get into a negative sign. So I want this, that this should always be positive. So it means I am moving along the direction of magnetic field. So when I do that, when I am moving like this, then what would happen? I1 will become positive and I2 will become negative, okay. So I can, this is case 1, this is case 2, I can say for clockwise movement, I1 is greater than 0 and I2 is less than 0. Okay. So this is your Ampere's law. This is the general formalism of Ampere's law. Now we take a more, a more practical example of a current carrying wire. Wires are cylindrical. Wires are very small cylinders with very small cross sectional areas. So actually using Ampere's law, have you ever seen how current is measured through a wire? आपने कभी देखा है? मल्टीमीटर जैसा डिवाइस होता है, it has got a loop, और आप उस लूप को उस करंट के चारों तरफ लगा दीजिए तो you get some value of current. So that is exactly, it uses Ampere's law. A current carrying conductor will generate magnetic field, okay, and that current mu 0 I, okay, what will be the current? I will be just simply B dot dl upon mu naught. You know dl because that loop of that device has got fixed radius. So you can calculate I, just you have to measure B and you calculate I. So that device uses always Ampere's law, okay. So let us go now, let us see how it is calculated. Say I have a wire, okay, of course it is magnified view of the wire, small. Why? I2 is, now you are moving like this. So what would be the direction of current? It would be like this. So, okay, I1 is less than 0. In this case, okay, it got flipped. The cases got flipped. When you are like this, when you are moving like this, okay, when you are in this direction, okay, let us take this case. So, when you are moving like this along the direction of magnetic field, then the current which is downwards is negative, is positive. I1 is positive, it is right. Where is the problem? Please do not talk. So, I have a wire which has got radius r. This is a wire, okay, normal wire, which electrical wire which we have in electrical wiring, and if suppose current is coming like this, I have a wire, current coming like this. Now I want to calculate the magnetic field, because if I want to know the current in some unknown wire, then I need to know the magnetic field, then only I will be able to calculate the current through that wire without actually breaking the circuit, okay. Otherwise I will have to put an ammeter in series in that arm, तो आपको circuit break करना पड़ेगा, okay. Here without breaking a circuit you can measure that what is the current through a particular wire, okay. So for doing that I have two cases. I take some arbitrary length vector r, okay, and I want to calculate two cases. One is r is greater than r, and second case is r is less than r, okay. So for doing this I am interested only with the surface through which current is coming out, okay. So I draw a surface here. So current is coming out of this surface, okay, and this is r given. Now I have two cases, some r, arbitrary r which is greater than r. So it means my surface has to be greater than, or surface area of the loop, which is going, the surface area enclosed by a loop should be greater than this cross section of this wire. So I draw a bigger circle. So now this is r, okay. So now the magnetic field, what would be the magnetic field? So I know that B dot dl is equal to mu 0 I, okay. I take a small length element dl over this, okay. So this is here and I come here, this is r cap, okay. So when I do B dot dl due to the entire loop, then what I get here is B into 2 pi r is equal to mu 0 I, simple. Magnetic field, or when I take this closed loop integral, then what I will get, B into 2 pi r is equal to mu 0 I, or what I get, the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor, B will be equal to mu 0 I upon 2 pi r, and same we got with an infinitely long current carrying conductor through Biot and Savart formalism. So far everything is good, okay. Is it okay? Here, sorry, this should be small r. This should be, because I am taking this circle, this bigger circle, okay. So dl is on this, circle, so this will be the small r, okay. Now we go to case 2. Now we go to case 2. So, case 2 I will draw here. So, for case 2 my condition is R should be less than this. So, naturally my open surface, what was the open surface here? Open surface attached to this closed loop was this area, like a soap film onto a closed loop, wire loop. Now I take, again I draw this surface and I take a loop inside. Now my area is this. Okay? Because my R is less than R, so my area is this, and I say that this is R and this is capital R. Is it clear? So, now you see I can say that B dot dl is mu 0 I. What was I here? I was the current, please pay attention, I was the current coming out of this entire surface. Now my surface has reduced. Now my open surface attached to this loop is only this area, fraction of the entire area. So now the current that I would get would reduce. Okay? So it means now I cannot directly write that B 2 pi r is equal to mu 0 I. Now what is this fraction? It is equal to this area divided by the entire area, I times. Okay? So I will write for this that B dot dl, so integral over closed loop B dot dl is equal to mu 0 I, it is fraction. Okay? So it is 2 pi r square divided by 2 pi capital R square into I. This is the fraction of the area. So I cancel this and what I get? I get here B 2 pi r is equal to mu 0 I r square by capital R square. Is it okay? ठीक है ये? So we can cancel something out here. I cancel this R. So what I get for the second case? I will remove this. I get B is equal to mu 0 I upon 2 pi r square into R. Okay? Is it okay? So this is, now you see I had, this is case 1, this is for R greater than R. Okay? This is case 1, this is case 2. When my R, small r, that is when I increase this to capital R, then this and this become the same. When R is equal to R, when small r is equal to capital R, either I shrink this loop, or I expand this loop, anything. Okay? So what I do is I get the same result mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. Okay? So there is an interesting conclusion that comes out of this result. There is an interesting conclusion, and that says that if I plot B versus R, small r, you will see here that when I am outside, what is happening? When I am outside, my field is inversely proportional to R. I can write this as mu 0 I upon 2 pi into 1 by R. But when I am inside, my field is linearly proportional to R. it is directly proportional. Capital R is a constant for a wire, for a given wire capital R is a constant, is the radius of the wire, mu 0 is constant and constant amount of current is flowing through the wire. Okay. So, it means this whole thing is a constant, so it is a straight line passing through the origin. So, I can say that if I have this point as capital R, then I have a straight line, and then, so this is proportional to R, and then I have a decay which is proportional to 1 by R. And this value, what is this value? This value is mu 0 I upon 2 pi capital R, maximum value of the field. So, where you will get maximum field? You will get maximum field at the center of the current carrying wire. Okay. And as we move away, the field falls off as 1 by R, and as we are inside, what would happen? Field would increase up to a certain extent and then it would start to decrease. Okay. So, this was Ampere's law. Now, we go one step further and we go to something called solenoid. Solenoid, you know? Solenoid is many loops, spirals one after the other. Closely, if you wind coils close together, then it is a solenoid. Okay. So, we will take the example of solenoid. Solenoid. So, now we are going to use this Ampere's law to calculate the field through a solenoid. Okay. So, before going there, let me do a calculation. I mean, just to tell you that why at all we required solenoid. Okay. So, we will take up a small example numerical to appreciate this concept of solenoid better. Okay. You will start to know, you will feel that why actually solenoids were devised. So, let us assume that I have a current carrying conductor I, okay, and this is the field because of this current carrying conductor B, and I say that I is equal to 100 amperes, okay, and say R is equal to 0.5 meters, or let us not take 0.5 meters, let us take 0.05 meters. It will be a bigger loop because I know it goes by 1 by R. So, if bigger the loop, lesser the field, okay, that is why. So, this is 0.05, okay. Now, I have to calculate B. So, I know that B is mu 0 I upon 2 pi R, is not it? This is the value mu 0 I upon 2 pi R. So, mu 0 upon 4 pi is 10 to the power minus 7. So, mu 0 upon 2 pi would be 2 into 10 to the power minus 7. So, I can calculate that B is equal to how much you get? 10 to the power minus 7 into 100 divided by 0.05. So, that is 10 to the power minus 7 into 100 into 100 divided by 5. So, 1, 2, 3. So, I have 2 into 10 to the power minus 4, is not it? 2 into 10 to the power minus 4. What is the unit? What is the unit of B? Huh? Q? Mu 0 upon 2 pi, 2 into 10 to the power minus 7. Okay, there is also a pi here, right? That pi is also here. So, I have divided by pi. Yes, that's right. So where is the problem now? Okay, this is 2 into this is 4. 4 into 10 to the power minus 4. So what is the unit? Tesla. This is a better unit. Or this is equal to 4 Gauss. It is equal to 4 Gauss. Okay. So do you know what is the magnetic field of Earth? Earth's magnetic field. Do you know the measure in Gauss or in Tesla? It is just half Gauss. It is just half Gauss. So it means if I have to do these experiments, I really need very high currents. Okay. So such high currents will just produce 4 Gauss. Getting 100 amps is no joke. It is a huge current. Okay. So it means with such huge current 100 amps, I get only 4 Gauss of fields. Okay. So this we will keep in background, and now we move on to solenoid. What a solenoid? A solenoid is something like this. Many loops, closely, if we wind too many loops close together, then it becomes a solenoid, or there are too many loops spiraling one after the other. So if I have a current like this, it spirals and it comes out. Okay. Why we did this? Why at all this was required? So okay. So let us look at the geometry. So if the solenoid is, if each loop is penetrating through the board, that is, so if I will always have current coming out and current going in for each loop, current going in and current coming out for one loop, another one like this, another one like this. So there can be n loops, there can be n number of loops. For every loop I will have these 2 points, current going into the surface, current penetrating into the surface, current coming out of the surface. Okay. So that is fine. Now let us look at one loop at a time. What is the field configuration? So I drew this for field configuration yesterday, and we know that field would be something like this. If I have only one loop. Okay. But because I have here another loop, now this loop would not want this field to go out. This will reorient this like this. It will suck these fields going out into this loop, within the loop. Now the next loop would also want to do the same. So it means I will have fields now going like this. So let me draw a bigger picture. So I have here, so it goes in, it comes out, goes in, it comes out. So now I have something like this. So it goes like this. Sorry. It goes like this. It is a big, solenoid. Now problem here is, if these loops are far apart, if you loosely wind the coil, the confinement of the field will be poor and you will not get good field inside the solenoid. But if the coils are tightly wound, then the confinement of the field would be perfect and all the field will go through the coil. Okay. So now I want to know that for some current I, if the total length is say L, then what is the field through the solenoid? Because I know, if I assume that I have done my homework, perfectly well, that is I have wound all the coils very tightly, so all the field should be inside. Okay. So, it means we are going to calculate the magnetic field inside with some assumptions. So, my assumption 1 is, that B outside is 0. Okay. And I am going to use Ampere's law for calculating the magnetic field. So, current comes here, I, okay, and I say that there are total n loops, there are such n loops. So, for doing this, if I have to apply Ampere's law, first I need to choose a path, a closed path over which I will walk, and then I will have to attach an open surface to that closed path. So, let me choose a rectangular path like this. So, I move like this, okay, and let this length be L, small n, okay. So, this has got 4 paths. I consider this as 1, this as 2, this as 3 and this as 4. I move on to the loop. Now, what I know from Ampere's law, that B dot dl is mu 0 I. Okay. Now, you see that current will depend. Now, the current is not coming out of the entire loop. Current is coming out only fraction of the loop which are present under this or are enclosed or penetrating this surface area. Not all the loops are penetrating this surface area that I have chosen. I could have chosen a bigger surface area, but I choose a small area. So, now the current or the magnetic field will depend that how many times current is penetrating through this surface area. How many times current is penetrating through this surface area. Okay. So, it means I can write that B closed over a closed loop B dot dl is equal to mu 0 L over capital L, and if there are total loops are n, if total loops are n, then L L n into I. This is the fraction of the current or fraction of the current that is passing through, penetrating this surface area. Okay. Now, B dot dl, this is a dot product. So, let us look at the surface. I know that along the arm 3 B is 0 because I have assumed that. I am going with an assumption that B outside is 0. Now, let us look at the arm 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are perpendicular to B. 2 and 4 are perpendicular to B. Dot product is 0. When you have perpendicular vectors, then dot product is 0. So, it means along 2, 3, 4 dot product is 0. What I have is along 1. So, B dot dl is simply BL, B into small l. Is it okay? Is it clear or not? समझ में आ रहा है आपको? नहीं आ रहा? बताइए क्या बताया? क्या बताया? Why along this direction, along 2 current, I say B dot dl is 0? This is a question. Why here along this direction, along arm 2, I say B dot dl is 0? Why? You are not paying attention. B dot dl, where is B? B is along this direction. Where is B? Look here on the board. B is in this direction. B इस डायरेक्शन में है कि नहीं है? और आपका आर्म किस डायरेक्शन में है? इस डायरेक्शन में है, इसी डायरेक्शन में आर्म 2. तो इनके बीच में एंगल कितना है? इसके और इसके बीच में एंगल कितना है? 90 डिग्री. जब 90 डिग्री होता है तो दो वेक्टर्स का डॉट प्रोडक्ट क्या होता है? B mod dl into cos theta. Cos 90 is 0. So, B dot dl goes to 0. Okay. So, I have only one arm left, that is arm number 1. Okay. So, I can write that this is equal to BL mu 0 L upon capital L into Ni. Okay. Now, L and L would cancel, L and L would cancel. Okay. So, B is equal to mu 0 N I by L, where L is the length of the solenoid. But always remember, this will hold true, this formalism will hold true if and only if L is much greater than R, radius of the coil. Okay. Now, let us look at that example again. I suppose that you have N, there are say 2500 coils, 2500 loops. So, I have here, I add N is equal to 2500 and say length is say 0.5 meters. Okay. Just to make length bigger than R. अब calculate करके बताइए what would be the B through this solenoid, बताइए. Same current. Oh, current is same. Okay. Yes. Okay, take two cases. In one case you take current 100 amps, in one case you take current 100 amps, and in another case you take current 1 amps. Okay, 1 or say 5 amps. 5 amps. We can produce 5 amps easily. दो cases लीजिए and tell me what is B1 and B2. B100, B for current 100 and B for current 5. What is B in Gauss? जल्दी से बताइए. Now you have to take this formula, B is equal to mu 0 Ni by L. ये आपको लेना है. क्या आ रहा है? 2000 pi Gauss, 6000 Gauss for 100 amps, around 6400. आपका 2000 pi आ रहा है. So pi is, if I say it's 3.14, then you get around 6400, 6300 Gauss. So for B100 is 6300 Gauss. And what with 5? With 5 amps, 100 pi Gauss. So what is that? 314 Gauss. So now you can see, just by slashing the current by 20 times, decreasing the current 20 times, I get appreciably large current, around 90 times large magnetic field in a solenoid. Okay. So in laboratory conditions, I cannot give 100 amps of current, it is hazardous for the for the person who is going to use it. So just by having 5 amps and using these solenoid, I can generate very high magnetic fields. So this was the reason why solenoids were devised, for creating highly directional magnetic field through the solenoid. Okay. So this for today.